What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Point of America podcast. We're your hosts, Kurt and Dylan. And this is a bittersweet moment, Dylan. The season's over, but we have also crowned a new champion
in
Lando Norris.
The absolute least amount possible to get it.
He did exactly what he needed to do to get it without taking unnecessary risks. And
the funny thing
is
it done. Felt like McLaren was juggling that whole race, like just to end right how it started. But it felt like a crazy juggling act.
You know, I will say I was stressed out during the beginning of the race because of freaking Charles Leclerc. Like, he was right there. He's getting in DRS range. Then they cut and he's like 3/10 going into the straight. And I was like, this is it. If he gets past, this is it. And luckily it didn't happen. But
he was the true Red Bull #2 driver this weekend.
He really was. He really was. I like how Will Joseph in an interview afterwards, he was like, they asked him about it, and he was like, yeah, apparently Lando was a lot more comfortable than we were with that situation. So eventually we were like, hey, please speed up.
What a kind of crappy race, though.
It was, man. It was a boring it was a boring race. Unless you were super invested in what was happening at the front like I was. Other than that, it was just a stinker.
Not a lot happening. Max was out front just listening to T-Swizzle, 10 seconds clear of everybody. At the end of the race, 25 seconds. So like, is he going to pit? They're in the window, the safety car. And Max just out there going,
yeah,
just driving to victory.
I will say, for all of the speculation and all of the like trying to game plan what could happen, who could do what kind of strategy and games are they going to play, it was the most uneventful, just straightforward race. We saw none of the games being played, and it just, it started and it ended.
Yeah, that was about, something happened with Russell. That dude kind of sucked for the last race. I don't know if it was his confidence in the braking or what, but like he just dropped away. Leclerc was driving like he was, his hair was on fire. And it was kind of funny because I thought they had screwed over Piastri because they pitted Lando first to cover off Leclerc and whatnot. And so Lando's like net in front of Piastri, but there's all this jockeying going around, and then he had to pit again, and then there was that window. They threw Piastri in there, and then he was right back where they started, and it was like, that was a lot for like nothing.
It was interesting to see when they started the race that Oscar went with the hard tires and instead of what Lando did with the mediums. But I mean, I guess you have to try something at that point. But yeah, we've been asking this whole time, like 2 stops, super interesting. And then this week we have a 2-stop race for the most part. And it just still, it was okay. But those Ferraris, man, I feel like the Ferrari kind of came alive in this last race.
It's so weird because Lewis goes out for the 3rd week in a row in Q1 on merit, which is wild. But then Leclerc makes it to Q3, but it's like barely every time. Like, I don't know if he's just eking that 1/10 of a second as the track rubbers in just to stay relevant. But then it's like their race pace is pretty damn good. Like, I bet they are so happy. I'm sure Lewis Hamilton got out of that car, lit a match, and threw it in the seat and walked away. Like,
yeah, it was awesome to watch the timing tree and see Lewis just steadily climbing up. But yeah, I know Lewis had an interview afterwards, and he was saying that he is just going to disconnect. He is going to leave his phone. He's just completely off the grid until the season starts. But they did also talk about the meetings that have to occur and the changes that have to be made. And it almost sounded like an ultimatum in the way he was saying it, whereas like, if these changes don't occur, I'm out. Like, I'm probably going to walk. Which I really hope that Ferrari goes against everything that they've been known to do and actually finally listen and make some changes, because you've got 2 of the best drivers on the grid right now, and they're both screaming, asking for help, and you have to do something.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. So we're going, like, it's the best time that if Ferrari is worrying about the optics, it's a brand new car in every single way, shape, or form. You can listen to your drivers all day long and then say, this is our Ferrari, and never have to be like, oh, we sucked and we took Lewis's advice and now it's better. Like, brand new clean slate. Let's you're paying Lewis Hamilton $300 million. Let's listen to him. Just a little.
Instead of just throwing this one to the curb like you have the last 4 or 5 champions you had. Finally do something.
Speaking of new cars, Kimi Antonelli will be the last driver to use DRS?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I guess I'm just excited to see how the active arrow works and what happens next year.
It sounds like more shit to break.
It definitely does. Sounds like more stuff to break. It sounds like a lot more gray area for the engineers to exploit, which is awesome.
It's always good.
But yeah, Kimi Antonelli, I think Jensen Button was the first and Kimi Antonelli was the last.
I think so, yeah. Let's talk about Yuki Tsunoda. Rough week.
Oh man,
that dude looked deflated. Like all of the interviews, you could just tell he was getting kicked upstairs. Like, and then leave me to it. I know what to do. And you're like, yes, Yuki. Here we go.
Kamikaze is like, what's about to happen? What is he going to do?
7 turns later, nothing at all happens.
It was like the biggest anticlimactic ending. Like I don't know what I expected, but I expected a little bit more than that.
I expected more than that.
I remember just as soon as he said that, I was like, that's kind of an ominous message. Like, watch out, Lando.
Yeah.
And then it's just right by the guy. Checo Perez was sitting there watching, just shaking his head
and laughing
in disbelief. Yeah.
And laughing. He's probably texting Christian, ha ha. And then they give him a penalty, which I'm really glad they didn't give Lando a penalty, although there's an argument that could be made for it. The penalty for Yuki was it's just like, really? Is that necessary? Like, yeah.
I think that it was, I mean, it could kind of be seen as like kicking him when he's already down. But I feel like at that point, there had to be a penalty handed out.
I clearly completely.
I don't know. It was a clear breach of the regulations. Like if that goes, the reason that rule is there where you can't make multiple defensive moves like that, especially on a high speed straight, it's a huge safety issue. You've got a car that's coming behind you with a big speed advantage. They've got the slipstream. They've got the DRS. You make a defensive move. They go around you and then automatically or all of a sudden you go right in front of them. I mean, we've seen that happen before. Where was it? I think Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso and Coda. This year, actually, Lando and Piastri in Canada, but luckily there was no wall there this time. But I think it's a dangerous move, I feel like.
I think it's a dangerous move under braking. They are still accelerating. And so my issue with it is it's a very subjective penalty. We could sit here and bicker back and forth that, hey, it wasn't under braking. He made 2 moves, which people do all the time. And if we want to talk about it being a clear breach of the regulations, somebody was 4 wheels off track with plenty of room to keep 2 wheels on the track. Like it's, and what my bigger issue is, it wasn't forcing another driver off the track. It was excessive weaving. Now, because I was sitting there when they first pulled it up, it's like, if it's forcing another driver off the track, they cannot give both of them a penalty. You cannot say Lando went off the track and he was forced off the track. They gave Yuki an excessive weaving. Why doesn't Lando get passing, gaining an advantage while off track then? Like, it just seemed subjective, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I was reading through the document that they had, the FIA decision letter, and they were stating that, going 4 wheels off the track is a breach of the rules, but they stated that it's not seen as, I forget the way they word it, it is not seen as exceeding the racing, or whatever it is, track limits. It's not seen as a track limits violation when that driver is forced off in order to avoid a collision.
But they didn't give anybody a forcing another driver off penalty. They gave an excessive weaving penalty. So it's like, I really wish they would have called it just a racing incident and rock and roll. I didn't want Lando to get a penalty and lose the championship on a technicality. But giving Yuki an excessive weaving penalty, I was like,
I'm as soon as I saw it in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, that looks bad, but let's just keep rocking with it. I'm actually surprised that McLaren didn't come over and be like, hey, we might want to give that place back.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that could have huge implications.
You're going to pass Yuki. You're going to like,
could you imagine if he would have got that 5-second penalty?
Because Leclerc had already passed Yuki, so there was no giving it back once it was noted.
Yeah. And so if you get that 5 seconds, I think that might have been enough for Max to be like, okay, let's play some games now. Because now that he doesn't have to get past, he just has to be within 5 seconds of whoever's behind him. I don't know. It would have been a lot. But one thing I did see, and Yuki's going to have to be careful now, is he now has 8 penalty points going into next year. So I'm sure he's like, okay, give me 12. What's it matter at this point? Like, why even have the meeting to give this guy points? I guess it's just in case he gets a drive for next year. He has to. So,
but yeah, I'm glad they didn't give Lando a penalty. I was a little bit annoyed they gave one to Yuki.
Yeah, that would have been huge. As that would have been a bigger controversy, I think, if they would have gave it to Lando and then he lost the championship.
Yeah. So, Lando Norris, world drivers champion
of the world, man. That's awesome. I'm glad to see it.
He worked for it. He was given everything possible, but he got it.
He definitely earned this championship, regardless of what people say. I keep seeing all the comments talking about Snack Brown and the FIA handed it to him. I don't see how you could still think that with everything that's gone down this season.
There's too many what ifs. I mean, you win a championship over the entire season. How many DNFs did we have? DSQs did we have? Random penalties, papaya rules. I mean, any one of those could have swung it another direction.
Like, look at Oscar. If he wouldn't have crashed in Baku, that could have been it right there. You know, there's so many what ifs, like you said. But as Max said, if my mom had balls, she'd be my dad.
Yep. Hard to argue with that. And Max was quite the happy camper. Won the race, was happy for Lando. It was like he could give two shits that he wasn't the world champion.
I know. He seemed. And you know what I think that comes down to? I think he is just proud of the work that team put in. He overcame a 104-point deficit to get within 2. That, and I mean, in my mind, that's got to count for a lot.
The largest deficit prior to that was 50 points.
Yeah. I mean, I think Lando is definitely earned to be titled as the world drivers champion, but I think Max earned a lot this season. I think he earned a lot of respect too. It's interesting to see all the people that used to boo him all the time, and now they're Max Verstappen fans.
And I mean, we're gonna have number 69 on the grid next year.
You think he'll do it?
No, I think he goes back to number 3 because that was his original racing number, and he went to 33 because Danny Rick was number 3. So I bet he goes back to number 3.
Yeah, now that rule is there where you could change your number, it's going to be interesting because I think that's why he went from 33 to 1 because he had said he had no ties to 33. He only picked it because it was 2 3s. So we'll see. I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll piss a lot of people off, but it doesn't matter. Danny's gone. I'm a Danny fan. Let him have it. Yeah, him and Danny were tight.
And I'm going to guesstimate exactly how much sleep he will lose over those people being angry. Carry the 1. It was fucking 0.
I don't know the last time that anything has caused Max to lose sleep in the Formula One world.
Even like last week after Qatar, Max, do you think you're going to lose sleep over this? No, I don't really think about it at all.
Yeah. I was like, so what did you do? What did you do between the 2 races? He was like, well, I had to set up a bunch of stuff for my GT3 team. I had to get a bunch of stuff for my sim team set up. And then Oscar gets the mic and he's like, well, I definitely wasn't setting up a GT3 team.
Poor Oscar.
He's like, I went and I played paddle.
Oscar was pretty dejected, man. It's got to be a hard, bittersweet ending for him.
It was, I think that Oscar, once all the dust settles, he can be proud of what he did this year. He's on his 3rd season. He led the championship for majority of the season. And for a while, he looked like he was going to be kind of the heir apparent to the throne.
Yeah.
But I think he can be proud of what he did this year.
He absolutely should be. I mean, he's in 3rd. He got beat by Max there at the end. He kind of, I hesitate to say he beat himself there in the middle part, but I don't know what happened to his form to just like disappear and then come right back like that. Not that I'm a conspiracy theorist by any means, but that was weird. So hopefully he overcomes that.
Yeah.
And I bet it'll be more ominous for him next year if they get him a good car.
And that's the thing, I think he's definitely a championship caliber driver, but who knows next year? I mean, we could start the season and that Aston Martin could be at the very top. And then you got Stroll in the lead for the championship.
I don't even see.
Stroll, who this year or this race made it 0-24 in qualification with Fernando Alonso. Like that's not a good stat.
We've talked about it before. The only reason I think that he's truly still on the grid is because that Aston Martin hasn't been fast enough for him to be relevant to how bad he's doing. I did feel for Carlos Sainz. He came and gave Lando a big hug after the race, and I wonder, talking about Piastri And if they get him a good car, that's signs, man. Absolutely championship caliber driver. Is he ever going to get a chance again? I don't know.
Yeah. What was cool, I saw an interview last week with Sainz where they were talking to him about, going to Williams and all that, how he made that choice. And he said when he was at McLaren, he could tell that was going to be a championship team. He said with Zach, Andrea, and all the people in the team, he was like, it just felt like they were onto something big. And when he left Ferrari, he said that the big selling point for Williams is he got that same vibe from James Vowles and everybody there. And he's like, that's the only other time that he's felt that since leaving McLaren, and that's why he went there.
Fair.
So, I mean, now that they've got a huge title sponsor, they've got more money, they've got James Vowles, the ship's turning around. I think that there's a good chance. And then again, next year, like we said, who knows?
Yeah.
There's a chance that Williams could be up there as well.
That'd be awesome. Heroes and zeros?
Yeah, let's go ahead and hit those heroes and zeros.
You want to start?
I will start with, how about you start with your zeros? I don't have as many.
I've got quite a few. I'm sorry to do it one last time, but Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah.
He's been kicked enough when he's down. I feel really bad for the guy. He seems so dejected in that garage. He even snuck out during, apparently Kim Illman did a video that he while Red Bull was celebrating Max's win, he went through the Ferrari garage and went to the hospitality suite and just kind of disappeared out the back. And you're just like,
ooh,
I'm sorry, bud.
Yeah.
But also what a bad showing.
Yeah.
So that was rough. I'm gonna give it to Racing Bulls, who were down in 17th and 18th. And my other one is Alpine, who was 19th and 20th, the only 4 cars to be lapped. And it was just like, what are you guys doing back there? Was this a developmental drive for some reason? Because what was that? Just not a great showing. Franco Colapinto got 0 points this year. Alpine is dead freaking last at 22 points total, all from Pierre Gasly. And it's just oof.
Yeah.
Season to forget.
Yeah. Yeah. Not good for those guys. So I should have went first because those are the 3 that I had on my list. I would say that, I don't think I could change. I think Yuki, like we said, he got chewed up and spit out. I felt like he was doing so well in that Racing Bulls, and the biggest fear of him going to Red Bull came to fruition. So we'll see what happens with him moving forward. Again, Alpine, man, miserable year. Interesting to see what happens next year when they get from Mercedes power.
Yep.
I mean, we saw McLaren did pretty well with it. But we'll
That's
see.
fair.
Let's see. I know Pierre Gasly's like, thank you.
Yes. What a season to be over.
Okay. So on the heroes, I want to start off. Well, okay. First off, I have to start off with Lando Norris.
Obviously.
I think that goes without saying there. I want to give it to, I was going to single out Alonso, but I think I'm going to go with Aston Martin as a whole. Alonso qualified, was he P4 again?
Yeah, something like that. P4, P5.
Alonso, the tail end of the season has come alive, I feel like. Ever since he found out.
Qualified P6.
Okay, but he was up there. I know every time I looked, he was jumping up there. And then going through the race, he did pretty well there. But look at Lance Stroll.
Mm-hmm.
Lance Stroll, I think, had a pretty good race.
He did. He had some great passes.
He did. He came in P10. So I think that Aston Martin it ended the season in a good spot.
I completely agree.
Let's see who else I got on here. I have the Ferraris. I think that they kind of came alive towards the end. I mainly had Lewis on here, but I think Charles Leclerc did a great job with what he had. To put pressure on Lando like he did, and then Lewis to come through the field like he was. I know that he, with everything he's experienced this year, he still wasn't super happy at the end, but I think he can be happy. He should be happy with his performance.
He was the only reason there was any excitement during this race.
Kind of, yeah. And then that battle, they show him, he's getting past Ocon, and I thought he was, had P7 locked in, and then Ocon blew by him again, and he wasn't able to get by him, but that was exciting. And then I got 2 more. It's the other 2. I got Max and Piastri. I'll go with, I think Max earned it on this one. His quali lap, both of them in Q3 were flawless. Perfect. Absolute flawless laps. the one, it was like, oh, he had a toe from Yuki.
Not a
and
very
he goes
good
out
toe.
the next one. Right, exactly. And then he goes out on the next lap, doesn't have a toe, and beats it again.
Full
that
2/10 faster than Lando's.
On a track where those McLarens should have been faster.
F1 released the ghost car video from Lando's perspective where it had Max's car like doing the quality lap together. At no point did Lando even get up next to Max during the entire going around the track. It was just like, good grief.
Yeah, and that McLaren was super fast in that final sector.
It was.
But even on Max's lap, it was not. Was that my 3? I think that was my 3.
So ironically, we have the exact same ones. I have Norris at the top, which goes without saying. I had Aston Martin as a whole on there from the get-go. They had a fast car this weekend. Alonso was on it. Leclerc, I didn't put Hamilton on there. I just had Leclerc. It's impressive that Hamilton managed to pass Racing Bulls and Alpines and Williams and, fought with the Sauber and a Haas. So I guess it's a good job.
It shows you that I'm putting him on my heroes and he came in P8 and he's down there fighting with those guys.
Yeah.
Shows you the kind of season he's had.
But, I'm glad this season is over. It has been long. It has been safe. It is time for a regulation change. And I'm excited.
Like Oscar said in the cool down room, at least we don't have to drive these again.
Yeah. That's exactly
it's like,
right.
yes. It's like, I don't know what's coming next year, but it's got to be more exciting than this.
Yeah. I don't know how it couldn't be exciting.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also worth mentioning that now after this race, Max has the most wins of the season.
Yeah, 8.
Overcame that huge deficit. And I think that just flawless for Max. If he had a teammate that was up there, I think he probably would have won it.
Yeah, I do too. I completely agree. If he had someone that was in the mix with the McLarens with him, then you can start playing games and backing Norris up. And
yeah.
But
one thing I wanted to say about Max, I think that this was a very honorable win for him. I think that he could have done a lot. He could have started playing a bunch of games and tried to back everybody up. But I think that it just shows the maturation of Max, because Max of a few years ago, I think hands down, he was going to play whatever he could. But I think now he's just, I don't know, it's such a pure victory. I feel like that he didn't want to, I guess, taint it by doing that. I don't know. Maybe that's overlooking it, but I just got the vibe from him. Even Oscar is like, you didn't want to back everybody up. And I just think that he didn't want to. He didn't want to win that way, I feel like. He did what he could, and he just left it up to chance.
I think it's that second part. I think Lando is his boy, and I don't think he was going to try to play games to screw Lando out of it for a victory. And I think that's because he's a much more mature driver. But at the end of it, he said in the pre-race interviews and a lot of the times, I'm going to control my controllables, and I'm going to put my best foot forward, and I'm going to win this race, and the cards will fall where they are. And it's like, good. That's admirable. You're not a 5-time world champion because of it, but it's admirable. Like,
yeah, true.
So let's do these predictions, Kurt. I am quite excited.
I think that's it. We could sign off right now.
No. Stay classy, Kurt. Stay classy.
Okay.
I've been getting my butt kicked all year, but unlike Max, I made the comeback.
All right, predictions.
I had Oscar Piastri on pole.
I had Lando Norris on pole.
Yeah, it was our boy Max. I had George Russell in P3.
Oh, man. I had Max Verstappen in P3.
I did have Oscar Piastri P2.
I had Oscar Piastri P2 as well. Damn it.
Max boy winning it.
So I thought I had 1 point. I forgot you had Oscar in P2. I had Norris winning it.
My wild card was Max would be the world champion, which was a no-go.
My wild card was a Yuki Tsunoda DNF, which was also a no-go.
Might as well have been.
So I got 1 point. You got what? 1 point as well?
2 points. Because I had Max winning the race.
Okay. So what's the
final total score? Drum roll, please. That'd be Dylan with 40 points and Kurt 36. 4-point lead.
I pulled an Oscar Piastri.
You pulled an
Oscar. I pulled a Piastri. I led for most of the season. Lost it in the end.
You did. You sure did. So And to put it into perspective of what a wild year it was, last year, our average points scored over the season or each weekend, I scored on average 2.1 points. You scored 1.5. This year, I scored an average of 1.9. You scored 1.7.
Oh,
But what a wild, the amount of zeros and ones we have on this scoreboard is ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. Man.
Last but not least, fantasy, which we have Advantage Max pulled out the wind.
Very good.
Congratulations there. I think that there's some shenanigans afoot on the infinite DRSs and whatnot, but I'm not going to go there. Followed up by F1 Racing Team Mexico. Providence Racing rounds out the podium. Then we have Seat Full of Water Racing. My Cars 1. Rohan's Team Shumi. Gimme the Steering Wheel. Surefire. Mad Max Motorsports. That would be me in P9. Chaos Kings in P10. And Kurt with We Are Checking is down in P12.
Oh.
Feels good.
I lost that one too.
Feels good.
I just feel bad. I feel bad. You know what? I'm going to take the off season. I'm also going to disconnect.
You can go skiing in Antarctica with Lewis.
Yeah. It's just me and Lewis just licking our wounds. Like, man, I hope next year's better. I explained it to him. I was like, oh, I lost my predictions and I lost fantasy. He's like, really? Really, mate?
And I didn't make $80 million this year.
Yeah. Come on, Lewis. Get out of here.
Yeah, bro. Season is finally over. We've got next week to do like a season review.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I've already was thinking of a few categories. We got to do that. We got to re-go over our season predictions, our preseason predictions.
That's always interesting.
I don't remember those. I do remember one, and that was my surprise podium this year was going to be Yuki Tsunoda. That didn't happen.
I remember we earlier in the season, we got Hulkenberg's surprise podium. We were both like, neither one of us guessed that one was coming.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll do that. We'll do a weekend wrap up I'm way off. A season wrap up because there is a lot of stuff that happened this season that was so long ago. It feels like it was last season.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll definitely do that. But
I'm excited to start seeing the new cars.
Yes.
I'm really excited for that.
You see Cadillac is launching their livery on the Super Bowl.
No, I did not see that. So it'll be February, beginning of February.
Yeah, so I guess it's a commercial during the Super Bowl, but they announced that they're going to launch their livery then.
That's a good time to do it if you're Cadillac.
Yeah, pretty cool. So that'll be exciting, but it's kind of sad. It's our last race review of the season. So
wrapping up our third season.
Yep. I guess I really am Oscar Piastri.
That realization in your eyes.
All right. Well, Dylan, do you have anything else?
Oh, man. I can't believe we're still doing this. And we have how many downloads now? It's kind of wild.
Pushing 50,000.
You and I, 3 years ago, you were like, we should do a podcast. Like, yeah, sure. Screw it. Why not? Really high barrier to entry here. And 3 years and 50,000 downloads later.
Yeah. I remember our first month we had like 15.
Maybe. We were getting like two.
Most of them were probably me.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for listening.
Yep.
Give us a review, a like, subscribe. I don't know. Kurt, you do that part. You do that. You got it.
If you like this podcast, make sure you leave us a review. Now you messed me up. Make sure you leave us a rating and a review. Share it with a friend. Follow us on Instagram, Formula_America. And I think that's it. So on that note,
stay classy, America.
We'll see you next time.